Since the July 1 release of Claude Chat and Cowork inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot, I've been asked several times to quote or estimate how much is a job going to cost in Cowork. And with a limited amount of documentation from Microsoft on this, it's somewhat vague, using AI tokens. It's been difficult to estimate how much work in Cowork is going to cost. And so today being the first business day of the month, all of our caps and alerts and everything are reset back to zero. So I decided to run through a previous task in Cowork, and knowing that my current month-to-date consumption is zero, when I'm done with this project, I'll be able to see what my consumption is and say, okay, how much did that project cost? So it's just a day in the life of a project manager using Cowork. So what I did was I took a job that we did recently for a customer where they wanted us to replace their current on-prem RDS server farm with an Azure VM-based solution that ties into their on-prem via VPN. And so I took their requirements doc they gave me, which is a two and a half page requirements spec doc, uploaded it to Cowork, and I said, here's the requirements doc. I need three things. I need a project proposal that talks about deliverables and deadlines. I need a project quote that discusses costs. And finally, I need an engineer checklist, a step-by-step document for my engineers to follow as they're building out the actual build. And so I fed that quote and that one requirement stock into Cowork, and 3, 4, 5 minutes later, I had the entire project basically built here. I've got my scope doc, my quote doc, my engineer checklist, all inside of Cowork. So none of this data, none of the customer data was uploaded to a third party or Claude server, right? Claude now lives inside of my Microsoft environment and has access natively to my OneDrive and my SharePoint and my Outlook. And so I don't have to upload anything outside of my environment. The data is in my environment, so is Claude. And so all of this is native inside my 365 environment. So very quickly, what Cowork popped out was those three documents, and using something that RyanTech that we deploy for all of our customers using Copilot, something called a skills tree. We do a brief interview with you and set up some guardrails for AI that are an additional layer or two of security and normalization inside of AI above and beyond just Entra ID's conditional access policies and DLP and inherent Entra ID security. We create these skills files to add another layer of human approval and override and security and guardrails to the AI. And so one of the skills used in this project is our branding guidelines. So with that branding guideline skill in place, anytime anybody on the tenant creates a Word doc or a PowerPoint presentation or an Excel spreadsheet, it follows the branding guidelines so that everyone's documents are uniformed and there's no branding violations taking place. Now Claude is doing all of that for us inside of Copilot. So here's on the left is my project quote, on the right my proposal, and you'll notice these two documents are nearly identical, right? The difference being in the quote we have financials, and in the scope we have deliverables and deadlines, looking pretty much identical. And so you hand these two documents to the customer and they're very easy to follow, and you can pair out the deliverables, the deadlines to the cost. Finally, my engineer checklist. So I have a step-by-step checklist for the engineers that are going to build this solution out. Based on the requirements spec doc provided by the customer, they have everything they need to know to build, test, and deliver this solution to the customer. So this is an actual project that we did recently, and so I just ran through the same quote and asked Cowork to run through those tasks. And I went this morning. I had 0 credits used. After that, 4 or 5 hours of work it would have taken me to manually do the research, type all those 3 documents up, get them branded correctly. It was all done in less than 5 minutes, and it cost me 505 credits, which is 505 pennies or $5.05. So 5 hours of my work for $5, and it all looks better than something that I could have probably put together manually on my own. We're going to use this every day, all day.